Hello, Erin. Thank you for meeting with me this evening. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your culture, things of that nature, if that's okay with you, being on camera and everything. Okay. So first I wanted to ask, how would you describe culture?
I think I would describe culture as something that you pick up, I guess, like traditions, stuff hand down from family.
Like generational,
Yeah.
like learning generationally,
Yeah.
things like that. Okay. What are some cultural aspects that you follow? Like, what are some cultural values that you follow?
Definitely structure. I grew up Baptist Christian. That definitely had a big say on everything. I grew up military. My dad was in the Army. Mom had a dad in the Army, so I always grew up with that discipline and structural aspects of culture, I guess.
So like structure, discipline, respect for your elders type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in a little suburb of Paramount, California, kind of like the projects, the poorer area.
Okay.
Grew up very Hispanic. Mexican culture was a big production of where I was from. It wasn't until I think I was about 6 or 7, that Mom decided to move, and we started traveling with Dad because he was in the Army, so we were kind of just following wherever he went.
Just following him everywhere you go. I know.
Wherever he went.
I know that. How was that? Like moving around after being settled in somewhere for 7 years.
It was definitely a shock. I got to see a lot of different things that I wasn't used to. So I grew up with that structure, discipline, and stuff like that, especially with traveling. That it became one of the, I guess, culture where that was a must-do type of thing. And then going to places with him, it was kind of like a culture shock to see people not follow that same type of mentality.
Yeah, I get what you mean by that, because moving and stuff, it's especially at a young age, it's kind of like it's a stressful thing. Yeah. And what kind of culture do you think came from that, like moving around, and like do you think you took anything from the other cultures that you saw?
I'd like to say yeah. We always had our own little family traditions, our own little cultural aspects that we took from stuff. Growing up Hispanic, we took a lot of things like Dia de los Muertos and different types of things like that. And then going to places with a non-predominant Hispanic place, like we were in Georgia for a little bit, over in Fort Benning, Georgia, outside of Columbia, and or Columbus. That was definitely a difference. I grew up on In-N-Out, and now I'm moving over to White Castle. It's a big difference in the flavors and tastes and everything. So I kind of was able to take some of that with me. We definitely went from like our normal Christmas tradition of ham to now we're starting to add stuffing.
Okay. Do you think any of that has like affected your views today of how you see culture?
I think yeah. I think it was having a culture shock at a young age kind of opened my mind up to what else would be out there. It kind of made me start questioning what other cultures may people have, whether it be small places in Georgia or vast places like across the ocean, or even local like Texas and stuff like that.
Okay. So like being around all these new cultures and everything, like growing up, was there ever any one particular culture that you were just like, wow, that wasn't your own?
I think when growing up, I think it was mainly the difference from a place like Paramount, California, to the West Coast to the East Coast. Definitely, kind of was a shell shock. That was probably the biggest cultural exchange I think I could say I had. Just seeing the difference in Americans from one side of the country to the other. The Southern comfort definitely was something that I was like, whoa, that's actually a real thing. Instead of it just being, hey, dude, what's up? It was, hi, how you doing? How's it going? Stuff like that. That type of background culture was very something that I kind of wanted to take with me. I like that type of friendliness that the Southerners had.
Okay. I guess going back to that, outside of American culture, was there any other kind of culture that you just kind of really like, ooh, that's really neat, or one that you kind of like really enjoy learning more about?
Growing up, not so much. Once I grew up and was an adult, definitely. I was able to get stationed over in Germany. That was definitely something that I've only ever read about in books and seen pictures of in books. So getting to get some actual hands-on experience in that area was definitely something that just made me want to pick up more. And then going across and seeing the difference. I've only ever learned U.S. history, so getting to learn the world history portion was really cool. I was able to go across and see how the Poles live, how the Romanians live, Croatians live. So definitely European culture was something that I've always wanted to learn, and then getting put in an area where I can learn it definitely fed that bug to learn more.
Yeah, I bet. So you went over to Germany, and you were in Germany because you're in the military, you're in the army. How has your view of culture influenced your military service?
It's definitely been able to assist me in keeping my wits about and kind of picking up, being more culturally sensitive to people rather than just, that's weird, that's not normal, I don't like that, don't follow it. Especially being in the Army, I've been able to go all over, whether it be Middle Eastern culture, European culture, Asian culture. It's just the vast amount growing up with my dad's friends who's different cultures to being more accepting of that, of a, hey, uncle whatever does that, hey, aunt whatever does that. Now it's seeing, well, hey, that guy did that, and I was in that country, and these guys did that. It's definitely eye-opening. It was able to make me more sensitive rather than just brazen on everything.
It's kind of opened your eyes, giving you a little bit more of what's it called, like insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was able to be more comfortable with other people's stuff than just negative.
And how do you think you take that into like every day, like being culturally sensitive, outside of like your military service? How do you do that like day to day? Because culture in the military is a little bit different than, outside.
Definitely different than the outside. I think as a soldier, it's definitely something that I have to do, being more sensitive. So taking the soldier out of the soldier is definitely something that's, I know I need to do because, again, I'm just adjusting to everybody every day, and being able to take that skill of being both insightful, sensitive, and just learn more about everything, that hunger for knowledge from everybody else's type of culture, everybody else's traditions, stuff like that, definitely is something that I've been able to take out so I can adapt easier to learning people's stuff. Because even just going from California to Massachusetts, where I live now, that's even different. So rather than being closed from it, I can be more in tune with wanting to learn it. That's definitely something I think I've taken out of both, not just service, but growing up.
Okay, it's good to know. Well, these are all of the questions that I really had for you today regarding culture. Do you have any questions for me? No? Okay. Well, I want to thank you again for doing this interview with me.
Of course.
Thanks.